people are starting to realize that the 1% really do feel like they're above the game.
They are above the game. If I want to put my company in Panama, I can put my company in Panama.
Well,
if I want to put my money over here in this country, I can go to this country. If I want to fly my own private little airplane going to my own private little airports, they're not flying to O'Hare. Okay?
And it turns out that the privileged feel entitled.
Exactly. They're above the law. And
well, the law is really for the masses, Carl.
Leave your false impressions at the door. It's time for Carl and Mike.
Welcome, Carl and Mike. I'm Carl.
I'm Mike.
We're here at the beautiful corner Bakery Cafe in Dallas, Texas.
We are.
Another sunny Dallas day. I love April in Dallas.
Oh, it's great, isn't it?
It is. Before the fog of summer.
Yeah, and the mosquito swarms.
Yeah, we got none of that right now.
No, it's perfect.
Lovely. But Michael, there's trouble in the world.
There is?
There's trouble in River City.
Yeah?
Let's start with the Donald first. Get that over with.
Yeah, get it over.
I think he might quit. I think we might have a Perot on our hands.
You think he's going to quit? You think he's going to puss out?
I think he will. I think there's a real possibility. Yeah, I do. I don't think he wants. I think this article, this woman who was in his campaign, he was supposed to be a protest candidate, really wasn't serious about it.
Really? I haven't heard about that. Yeah. Now, what's the deal?
So this woman who was hired by the Donald early on, and the goal was to get to 10% and be a protest candidate to Jeb Bush or whatever, and that was their goal. So he wasn't really in it to win it. And, he took off, and his ego took off with it. And off to the races.
That's what she's saying?
Yeah.
Now, who is she exactly?
Part of his marketing, PR team or whatever. And that was the instructions they were given.
Really?
Yeah.
Does she have something in writing, or does she have a...
No, I don't. I mean, she just has what she was told coming in, right?
Yeah.
And she quit. She quit the campaign.
When did she quit?
When he looked like he was getting serious.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so she quit early.
Fairly early.
And has been holed up somewhere writing this little story.
Yeah. So, I mean, take it for what it is. But
yeah.
I see,
I don't think you think it.
He went home for Wisconsin for a week there and kind of banked out at his little places there. I think he could get, one of these. Well, fuck it, if you don't want me,
that is really going to deflate a lot of people.
I think it's possible. I'm not saying he's going to. I think it's more of a possibility than we come to realize. It could be two things now. It could be I'm going to fuck the Republicans because they've been fucking around with me from day one. I'm going to get them bastards because this guy's got a thin skin. Okay, that's on the surface.
And a huge ego.
And he's got a much deeper skin.
Yeah.
Below that is much more vindictive, right? He can say, fuck them. I'm going to throw them under the bus.
The card that he plays, as far as I'm concerned, I've mentioned this before, I think he's getting close to playing it. He can stand in front of those big crowds and say, the establishment's says they're trying to stop me or pulling together to stop me. They're not trying to stop me. They're trying to stop you.
Yeah, he definitely could.
If he plays that card, the establishment's got no choice but to back off because that's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to keep that faction of the, that rabble from taking over the
party.
Yeah,
they don't mind kissing up to it.
No, they're kissing up to
manipulate it. But when the manipulation
Cruz, for God's sake, and nobody likes him. Even people that are,
he's a skin crawler. His daughter doesn't seem to like him. The best thing that could happen to the Republican Party, quite honestly, is they do nominate Ted Cruz and they get creamed. And the Tea Party, once and for all, gets put in its place, I guess, from the establishment standpoint.
I don't think Donald supporters, for the most part, would back Cruz. I think they would be pissed off that the establishment has come in and co-opted. The thing that's been interesting to me, and this is kind of like finding out about the 501c's, the Levi's, that finance a lot of this bullshit, is finding out about just what the nomination process is all about and how that works and who superdelegates are and how they determine who the delegates are. I'm stupid and naive. I just assumed that majority rules, if you had the most votes, you were going to be the nominee. But, they have all these delegate counts, and that you've got to get so many delegates to, 1247 or 37
Right,
or whatever it is. And he's got to have that going in or he doesn't get it.
Right. But you see, the system was
And
always...
they're weird voting. Each state, the way they pick their delegates is totally different.
Yeah.
I mean, it's some hinky bullshit.
It turns out we're not really a democracy.
Oh, no,
we're a democratic republic.
No,
which means we hire a representative.
Yes. There's all kinds of payola and backroom shit going on right now trying to get the delegates, but there's also this delegate thing, and I didn't realize this, where people that do in, let's say, a state like, I don't know, Texas, people that work for the Democratic Party and are kind of, in the trenches day to day, year after year after year, one of the big payoffs for them is to be asked to be a nominee at the convention, and they get to go and play big boy.
Right.
After doing all the grunt work. So it's almost kind of like
a machine.
Getting an ambassador or something like that if you work real hard to get somebody elected president. It's that kind of bullshit. It's that inside
Super delegates.
shit. Oh, super delegate. Don't even
That's
get
like
me started
giving
on
the 1% gets the heaven.
Yeah, that's the 1% thing. The super delegates are for the 1%. And I think we just need to blow the doors off this shit so people understand and see it more for what it is.
Yeah. What would you say it is?
It's the illusion. We are sold an illusion. The general population are sold an illusion that our vote counts. It doesn't count.
I think because of gerrymandering in Pennsylvania or something, I read that it takes 2.5 Democratic votes to equal 1 Republican vote. And that in the 2012, when the House kind of got all deeply Republican, actually across the country, Democrats had more than 1 million votes more than the Republicans.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and lost seats. So, yeah, I think the illusion is becoming very clear, added to what they do in terms of what the Republicans are trying to do in terms of rigging the elections through.
Well, and the Supreme Court weighed out on that this week, and almost pretty much, what was it? Is it an 8-0 decision?
Yeah, it was a unanimous decision.
That, the bullshit that the Republicans are trying to pull are going, no. Whatever that is, I don't understand it. I don't pretend to understand it. I haven't read up about it, but I know a lot of the people that were trying to rig the voting districts were not happy about the ruling. Well, tough shit.
Yeah.
Tough shit.
That's
But
so
it's been a good week or a bad week. It's been a good week and a bad week for the last week and a half for the 1%.
Shall we talk Panama Papers?
Ooh.
Please.
This is going to be good. And this is just the first in a...
well, yes.
Were they the only law firm on the planet that was doing this?
Turns out it wasn't.
No.
Turns out we're waiting for the Cayman Island Papers.
Yeah.
Because right now the U.S. kind of skidded through this.
Yeah.
It's kind of all the foreigners did the Panama.
Yeah.
But if they would have been the Cayman Island Papers...
What about those Hong Kong papers? Or
how about the
Dubai
British Virgin
papers,
Island
the
papers?
British Virgin Island papers, or the Falkland Islands paper? Where are these places?
Well, it turns out, surprise, surprise...
No.
That the 1% pretty much are beyond nations. Mm-hmm. They live in a stratosphere that has nothing to do with any nation. They can go where they want. It's like
in their little jets.
It's like a one world for them. There are no borders in the 1%.
No, they get their jet that moves back and forth between their various
they can put their
places.
company wherever they want, put their money wherever they want, anywhere in the world.
Yeah. That's just complete bullshit.
It's an interesting confluence of things that are starting to happen. That pesky internet really does open the doors.
It has.
It keeps it hard to keep it private.
I think it's just going to be harder for them to hide. They'll still hide it. They're still going to...
Here's the deal. It isn't hit. They know now. When they decide to go after a sanction, they can sanction individuals. Okay, that's governments dipping their toes into following the money.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that hard. If somebody wanted to, someone wanted to out Mitt Romney's things, I think there's ways to do it.
I think this is the best thing that the hackers have done. If the hackers want to do something that's of value to the general population of the planet, open the doors on all this. I don't think it was anonymous, but those people I would assume, have the ability to get in there and find out some more, because this is not... See, here's the thing that's interesting. they're talking about these wealthy individuals and ex-political leaders and all this kind of bullshit. And they talk about the Chinese,
Basically anyone very wealthy.
The Icelandic
Doesn't matter who
premier or
he could be a
president, he's already stepping down. Right?
Yeah, well,
he's
Iceland
out.
don't take no shit.
Yeah, he's stepping down. So that's the first one. So I haven't heard. Have you heard of anybody in the U.S. yet? Come on, in that whole.
Well,
law
first
firm?
off, there's 11 million pages. So it's going to take a while to go through these.
I know, but they all of a sudden found the Chinese and Putin. And,
Well, that would have been the first patch of papers, is what I think.
Let's have some more.
Yeah. And it's possible that the U.S. doesn't use Panama as much as other countries do. And they're in the Cayman Island papers.
Yeah, because it's closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But who knows? I don't think all the 11 million pages have been documented yet.
There's going to be some people that pop
It's
up.
going to keep coming out.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be some people that are popping up.
So, but what it does expose is the way things work,
The way it's rigged.
the way it's rigged.
And so when they're not paying tax, when the corporation's not paying
But the
taxes.
government guys are just as much. Cameron's father
Yeah.
in Britain. I'm sure Bush.
Ooh.
I'm sure Clinton's joined the game, late to the table.
That came out in the papers that the Clintons or the Clinton Foundation or some Clinton connected entity was in Panama.
Yeah.
That knocks her out.
Plus, we got supposedly this guy's gonna break loose on the prostitute thing that he had that knocked out Vitters. He's supposed to come out.
Do what now?
Yeah, the
What?
guy. Remember I think we talked this last week, didn't we?
I don't know.
Or maybe we did. There's the New York prostitute, Madam whatever.
Yeah.
That knocked out that Louisiana governor. Well, he's under a gag order not to release stuff, and he's gonna fuck it because he says it's gonna affect the American election.
Ooh, the governor does in Louisiana?
Well, the governor of Louisiana got knocked out.
Yeah.
from
So who is
being
it
on
that's
this
going to
list.
who's going to screw the
Well,
election?
there's other people on the list that never did come out. The attorney who owns the list has been applying to be able to release the list with the courts. And if the courts rule that he can't show it, he's going to do it anyway because he says it'll affect the presidential election.
I bet it will.
So that'd be either
Clinton.
Cruz,
Bill
Trump, or Clinton.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Bill Clinton would affect the. Would that
no,
affect the election?
that would give him. Yeah, yeah.
So I think this thing is up in the air. We may be. It's possible, Michael, here in the middle of April, that our elected Democrat and Republican candidate, we don't know yet.
Oh, that would be good. So all the bullshit that we've been going on for months and all the drama and stuff, that was really nothing more than a sideshow to what's to come.
Yeah.
An hors d'oeuvre, if you will.
Trump decides New York has spurned him. So fuck it, he doesn't need this. He's
Yeah.
out. Cruz gets the little Madam.
Heidi Fleiss kind
Heidi
of thing.
Fleiss kind of
Dude,
deal.
He
Yeah.
gets fleished.
Yeah, he gets fliced. They got nobody. They're definitely going to have a broker convention because there'll be no candidate there.
Oh man.
And then you got Clinton with anything could happen.
Yeah. And Bernie has a herd of pet goats, and we don't want to know what Bernie's doing with the goats. No, Bernie's. What was it he did? He said he's doing some stupid shit, saying
He's been
some
doing
stuff.
some stupid shit. Well, then it turns out his depth of knowledge on a certain subject, when he started to get, I don't know the story exactly, but he started to get grilled about it, and all of a sudden became Sarah Palin-like.
Ooh. You don't want to be ever compared with that.
Maybe we just don't have a president. Can we just switch to kind of because we love our Congress so
Yeah.
well. Somebody's
Yeah.
got to take the job at the end of the day.
Maybe we just get Jon Stewart, pull him off the bench, and
I think
give it
Jon
to him.
Stewart come in.
Yeah, have him come in.
Because
Come on.
that's or John Oliver. We could pick one of them.
Yeah.
Much more sensible.
We're already close anyway.
We're in deep in the comedy at this point.
Yeah.
Knocked out Carl and Mike's campaign. So yeah, I think you're right. I think this 1% Panama Papers is sweet insight.
Sharpen up the guillotines.
But don't you see it kind of? It's kind of like life is moving us into a certain direction, and the direction is against this 1%. Is to kind of unravel this thing.
Yeah, now where are they going to go to hide? I guess
Yeah.
they'll hide in the islands and they'll.
Well, they're kind of beyond nations, right? The thing is, who's going to fix it exactly? Because there's governments that are involved.
Government, the people that run government, the 1% to me, and the corporations are one and the same.
Yeah.
There's no
The average
difference.
average
Yeah.
congressman's a millionaire at
Yeah.
least.
There's just this illusion that we actually have a say.
So the illusion is being revealed. So what happens when the illusion's been revealed?
You don't get it back. Number one, you don't put that genie back in the bottle. Once that's out and everybody sees that that's bullshit.
So do people
anytime
rise
somebody
up? What do
goes,
people-
"Oh no, we're really being good again,"
Right.
no.
There's got to be some
Yeah.
actions taken.
Once that turd is dropped in the punch bowl, you no longer drink of that punch bowl.
If they are as powerful as they are, who's going to exactly stop them?
Well, obviously nobody, because nobody at Wall Street
Everybody's
has
running
was
the-
ever, like
Yeah.
that. Now, oh, this is another thing. Oh, I love this. I read it in the paper this morning. The federal government is getting ready to pass regulations that financial advisors have to act in the best interests of their clients. Now, think about
What do you
that for a
mean?
minute. They have to act in the best interest of their clients.
And who's passing this?
The federal government is passing some regulations that
Congress-
say
Congress
now we're
voted
now
for
having
this?
to have a regulation that the people that you hire to manage your money are actually acting in your best interest and not theirs. An example would be you have two funds,
Yes.
and they're identical funds, was
Right.
given in the article. One fund pays the broker or the investor more commission than the other, and so he steers the people into that fund,
Yes.
and not in your best
'Cause
interest
I'm paying more on
because
you.
you're paying more fee.
Right.
That's another one of these
How are
things
they
we're
going to
talking
enforce
about.
this regulation?
Well, the same way they do for enforce all regulations. They pass laws about the regulations, then they don't fund it,
Right.
or
Exactly.
or they need 200 people
200.
to regulate it, and they'll open up an office of 5,
Yeah.
and it'll be overwhelmed and not be able to do it. They're not going to. That's what I'm saying. It's rigged. But the fact that it even came out that they were needing to pass a regulate. I mean, just listen to that statement.
I know.
That they have to act in your best interest. I always assumed that they did.
See, because you're a good guy.
Here's another thing that's interesting.
believe
The
in-
guy
you-
that over the years, when we have money still with somebody, right?
Right.
But it's not invested in anything. Since 2008, we pulled it out,
Yeah.
and it's just basically a cash kind of thing. We've made absolutely no money on
Yeah,
it.
we did the same thing.
Okay, but we also didn't lose any money on it. In
Yeah,
other
we're
words,
about
we,
even.
we got out before the crash.
Your money's still there. You're just not putting more money into it. It's like an
Right.
IRA.
Right. Well, no, we're not even putting any money. Well, Nita is with hers. I'm not with mine. So it's stayed basically the same since we froze it. But, this guy called. He calls periodically. He's down in Austin now. And wanted to know if we wanted to revisit. And I go, well, I'm 63. Probably going to pull out of the game altogether, any game,
Right.
in another 3 years. So, no, I'm not interested in taking a chance on anything. And I told him, I said, especially after I remember that article on flash trading,
Right.
these entities that can afford these really fast supercomputers that are skimming off the top of all this shit.
Yeah. It's just everything's
I said,
rigging.
I said it's rigged.
All
And,
our,
and he goes, well, yeah, we know they're out there and we're trying. I'm sorry. You're either in that game and you're playing it or you're playing catch up. And so
it's like all
everything's
this great
good.
human mind potential being wasted on figuring
Yeah.
out ways around it as
Yeah.
opposed to figuring out inventing something or figuring out a better way to deliver better customer service.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like skimming. It's like it's like
how
rig-
can
how
we-
can we rig it? Whether we're Republicans trying to rig elections by voter suppression or whether it's these guys with the supercomputer trying to
how much
rig.
money can we actually make if we're skimming off the top of huge buy-sell things
Right.
that happen in a fraction of a nanosecond or whatever
Right,
it is?
right. I know.
Well, it turns out a fucking lot of money.
Yeah, quite a bit. And this Panama Papers, it's just I'm losing
Well,
my
and
faith, Michael.
that whole Panama Papers thing sounds kind of crude in comparison to the people that are skimming with supercomputers.
Sure.
And so their technology is really not to our advantage at all. It's people that have the money. Yeah, I guess it's legal. They haven't been thrown in prison, so I guess what they're doing is legal. Is it unethical? Yeah. Maybe some people would say not. Gordon Gekko would say no. Greed is good. I just love this. You can't make this shit up.
We need more non-dysfunctional human beings on the planet or something.
That are not infected by greed.
Just want to do the fair thing. I guess.
Is greed a
This might be-
virus?
Is greed a virus?
Yeah.
It's definitely, yeah, I think it is to a certain extent. Because you can live a pretty good life with a couple $1 million.
People live a good life with less than that.
Yeah.
What does money beget you? A bigger house, more cars? At some point, you can only drive one car at a time.
Or 100.
You can own 50. It's part of the show. It's showing other people that you have this. To me, that's what wealth for a lot of people is all about. Look at me. I'm successful. Look what I can afford. I can afford to indulge my whims with 50 cars and a garage with an elevator in it on the west coast of the United States.
I'm trying to get my head around it. Because, when you have a lot of money, you could do a lot of good. And there are people doing that.
Oh yeah, Bill and Melinda Gates, and
Warren
Buffett is throwing his money at stuff like that.
So
There are
really
people that really do
opportunities
good.
to do that.
Well, and then there's people that are constantly rigging the system that still do good, like Koch brothers.
Right.
I don't like them,
Right.
but they do spend money on building up hospitals and stuff
Right.
like that, and so that's good. They're doing that, and those are things that we need to have done.
But the way they're creating their wealth is to the detriment of
Yeah.
other people and the
Yeah.
planet.
And so you could say it's guilt payments. It's one thing to spend your money, and this is one thing I learned during my professional career when I was as a graphic designer doing signage, and I was working on big projects, and I talked to a lot of what they call development people. These are people that shake the trees and get people to write checks to fund
Right.
a new hospital.
Right.
It's easy for the development people to get money out of somebody that's wealthy for a bricks and mortar kind of a deal.
Right.
In other words, they can get somebody to pay for this building and put their name on the outside of it, or pay for this department within the building to put their name on it, or even to get down to where they do patient rooms, just all the way down to the patient room where you got your name on
You
it.
get your name on a patient room?
So, yeah, you can. It depends on how you want
How
to
much
break
money
it
you
up.
wanna put.
Well, no, it depends on how you want to break it up. But to staff those hospitals, nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to pay to staff the nurses and the janitors and people like that it takes to keep the building up and running. They'll pay for positions like a professorship, or they'll pay, some sort of lecture kind of. They'll do that because they can put their name on it. But nobody wants to put their name on the outside of a janitor's closet, or nobody wants to put their name on the outside of just, electrical closet. They want it on something big. They want to be able to show and point to their friends, this is what I did. They want their name associated with something important or big like that. So it's an interesting kind of a thing. So when you see somebody like Bill and Melinda Gates putting their money on mosquito netting or whatever, and it's not in Dallas or Des Moines or
Right.
New York City or Los Angeles, but it's in the really poor parts of the world, to me that's impressive. That's real impressive.
Yeah.
If there were more people like that, I think we would hear more of that. But
Don't
I
you think
don't
a
know.
lot of donations are done anonymously? Isn't there a lot done anonymously?
Well, I have to look at the people that donate money for the hospitals
Right.
and stuff, where I'm putting
That's
the
where you
list
know.
together.
Yeah.
There are people who donate anonymously just strictly because, and I've heard this over and over again, people donate anonymously because they don't want check writers and development people to continue to knock on their door asking them for money. So they go in anonymously. Now, a lot of those people know, the development people know who the anonymous donors are. The general public doesn't know who they are, but they know that because the check's got to clear.
Right. Right.
Although I think there are probably more and more
Shell
entities
companies.
being set up, yes, to
As we
funnel
saw
money.
from the Panama Papers.
Yeah.
Lots of shell companies.
So, and there's tax advantages for making these kinds of donations.
Yeah. I don't mind that if that's going to encourage.
But as we can see, the general populations, we're seeing the difference with the way Clinton and Sanders are both having their campaigns financed.
Right.
You know, he's raising a lot more money than she is. She's flying all over the country, going to these big parties at Clooney's house and people like that.
Right.
And so,
He's getting a lot of $27
but
checks.
Bernie's getting a lot of $27 checks or whatever it's up to now. And
That's what
where
Obama
he's
did
making.
to a certain
Yeah.
extent.
And that's really the power of crowdfunding.
But you got to be a certain candidate to get that.
Oh, yeah.
I think Bernie has good ideas. I just don't think Bernie would have any capability of getting them done. He didn't do anything in the Senate, and there's a reason. So I think Bernie's saying is just, he's doing the same stump speech, it's the same message over and over again, and he's just working to get it in public consciousness. I think, which is good. I think that's a good thing. The next step to that, though, Bernie did not develop a coalition. There's not the Tea Party style under
No.
Bernie. If Bernie would have been the Occupy Wall Street party, which he could have done, he could have gone that route and organized them and spent a focus on getting organizations in every state and working with the Democrats to do that, and there would have been candidates like a Tea Party.
Yeah.
Okay. Bernie may not have had the money to do the Tea Party, I don't know, but Bernie chose to be he's kind of the Moses, if you will.
Yeah.
You're not going to get to the promised land.
Well, see, the thing.
But he is getting the awareness out that could, if anybody could get it together, start to form
Yeah.
a Occupy Wall Street party, for lack of a better word, that would be in every state and run candidates.
Yeah.
That's how you would affect change.
Well, now let me ask you, because you mentioned Occupy and words like this, let me get you to put your copywriter hat on. Okay. It's like when you use a word and it's been used.
Yeah.
Okay, like change.
Yeah.
Okay, Obama had that. That was his deal, change.
Hope and
Now, I mean,
change.
hope and change. Can you ever go back to the well and use that again if people feel like that hope and change was not realized? And I'm saying no, you can't.
It's harder.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, you can probably do it after a period of time. So you almost have to use different words, like you were saying, occupy, or they use Tea Party. And the thing that's interesting about Tea Party now is Tea Party was set up to be outside the establishment, right? Okay. Now the establishment is quietly overtaking and infiltrating
Some people would
the
argue,
Tea Party.
Michael, that the Tea Party was funded by Republicans.
Oh, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. It's just a way of dressing up what they're talking about. Yeah. So what the establishment decides that they need some sort of rebellion.
Yeah.
To help.
To the black guy, the black candidate.
Yeah, they need a rebellion.
Tea Party came up right after
And
Obama
so,
got
hey,
elected,
what
right?
was a rebellion? Oh, Tea Party. We had the Boston Tea Party. Oh, Bob, that sounds
right.
good.
That was good copywriting.
Somewhere there was a meeting.
See,
there
Occupy
was
Wall Street is not as good a copywriting.
No, because Occupy has got real negative
Democrats
connotations
haven't
to
really
it.
learned how to do it right.
The hippies occupied the administration buildings.
To be quite honest, yes.
It's got negative connotations. Tea Party, oh, that's, three-cornered
Tea Party
hats,
is,
the
right there, Paul Revere and the tea
our
and the water.
colonial guys, chunking tea into the bay and all that kind of happy bullshit.
Right.
And so somewhere there was a meeting.
Yeah.
It's always a meeting. It's a
Seriously.
group of people sitting around the conference room.
Yeah.
They're banging around ideas, and somebody says Tea Party, and boom,
Oh.
that's it.
Hey,
They're off.
here's ironic because the Democrats tend to have more of the artists. You think we'd be a little bit more creative on the Democratic side?
It's a bunch of cats. It's like herding cats.
It is. The
Yeah.
Republicans do seem to do a better job of messaging and discipline.
Well, they're into discipline. They're very into
they're big
discipline.
into discipline. Yeah. The Democrat Occupy Wall Street really, they didn't really. What were they doing exactly?
I don't know.
Yeah, you see, they just
And we may
sit in
find-
a building really doesn't do
We
anything.
may find out specifically who's really into discipline once they release that list, that prostitutes list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there may be that because I'm
Crack that whip.
getting a feeling Ted Cruz has been a bad boy. Yeah, I'm just saying.
You think he likes to be spanked?
I think he's or a spanker because he's what is he, a Dominion?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there needs to be more focus on that little, turn that light
if
on.
we had like a dominatrix that came out and said,
Yes.
I got some videos of Teddy and me.
Teddy with a little ball in his mouth,
Yeah.
getting spanked.
Yo,
Ooh. The evangelical. Well, I totally not surprised on that.
Wearing Snoopy pajamas.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
oh, oh, that's an image, isn't it? Gag ball with Snoopy pajamas.
Ouch.
With some dominatrix standing on top of him with high heels.
Or Donald.
Ooh.
All that power.
So anyway, people are starting to realize that the 1% really do feel like they're above the game.
They are above the game. If I wanna put my company in Panama, I can put my company in Panama.
Well,
if I want to put my money over here
Yeah.
in this country, I can go to this country. If I want to fly my own private little airplane going to my own private little airports, they're not flying to O'Hare. Okay? They
And
got their
it
own
turns out
airport.
that
They got their own little world.
the privileged feel entitled.
Exactly. They're above the law. And
Well, the law is really for the masses, Carl.
Really is,
We're trying to
isn't it?
control the rabble from taking our stuff. Keep the people working. That's what the laws are there for. Keep them safe so they feel good about working. So they
distract
can work.
them with sports. And,
Yeah, distract them with sports. Distract them with, I don't know, reality TV.
Oh. On another topic, speaking of prisons, did you see that 60 Minutes thing?
No.
That was a mind blower. It showed Germany, how Germany handles prisons.
Are they different?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Are they different? You got to go. I'll link to this on our Mighty
Okay.
Fine show notes.
Yeah.
You got to go watch that episode. It actually kind of, I felt a spring break in my brain.
Really?
Yeah.
You're going, oh, this is what it could be?
Well,
This is
they're
what
like,
it should be? What?
the murderers like have a key to their own cell. Have I sprung anything yet?
Yeah.
They get to get with their families for good behavior. The whole focus is on bringing them back into society, not punishment. This is Germany. I thought Germany was kind of
Nazi? No.
sexually
That was just, that was,
dominatrix-y
that was
kind of-
just kind of a short, well, maybe, I don't know.
So they've got, I mean, the whole approach to the prison system is like the opposite of what we do.
Right.
They're playing cards. They've got a beautiful room. It looks like a dorm with a desk, computer.
It's not a stainless toilet that's bolted to the wall
No,
without a seat
no.
on it.
They wear regular clothes.
Regular clothes?
Yeah.
It's not striped pajamas or
No.
anything?
It's just the opposite of what we do. Now you can't say,
Now,
"Oh,
how
this
long
is
do
some."
they-
this
and-
is,
and do they
this
come
is
out and
Germany,
the- and-
okay, this is like a major European country.
How is their recidivism rates? Probably pretty low, I would imagine.
It turns out to be way lower.
Really?
Yes. It's like all the numbers are better.
Than us?
Oh yeah.
We're number one.
Yeah, we are.
Aren't we number one? We're number one
in
everywhere.
recidivism rate,
Yeah.
and people coming back to prison and committing crimes. It's they don't dehumanize the person. Anyway, I couldn't believe it.
Now, is
to
it
be
just
honest. I could not
Germany or is
believe-
it Europe in general?
No, it's
or
Germany.
Germany.
I don't know. They didn't look at
Yeah.
France or what France does, or whatever. But it broke my brain for a couple of reasons. One, it's so completely foreign approach to prisons.
Well, of course it is. It's German.
And two, it's because it was done in Germany. This isn't like some weird little country in Asia that has, and then they question, would it work here? Well, I'm sorry, but we're
Why
all
wouldn't it?
human beings.
Yeah.
So absolutely. So
Yeah.
then they showed this American jailer who went there. So he's trying to incorporate some of that into the jail.
Where? In
And
what
here in
part?
the
Where in the
States.
States? It's not in Mississippi, I would imagine.
No, it's like, I don't know. I forget. I'll have to look. Pennsylvania or something like
Yeah.
that. No, it's over by Philadelphia.
So somebody's actually going to let him,
Well, he ain't doing Germany. He's taking a couple of ideas.
Yeah.
They're interviewing him, and then the guy, 60 Minutes guy, is saying, like, to think differently on this like that is like conversing the Grand Canyon for the States. I mean, it was really it was a mind opener.
His mind is open, but he has to then sell it to other people, and other people are
which is
gonna-
like a Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
So I think the 60-minute piece will do a good job for that.
Huh.
You always think of Germany, I don't know about you, but maybe because of World War II and all that shit, you always think of Germany as a pretty harsh, disciplinarian kind of Nazi kind of
Well,
country,
and I
right?
think it probably was, and then we have
Right.
all the movies,
Right.
and there's those pesky little Auschwitz and
Yeah, there's that. Right. So to see
Treblinka, all
Germany,
those
with
places that kind
treating-
of go, yeah, that was not good.
see, you kind of still got that in your head.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course.
So you watch the 60 Minutes piece, You go, huh?
So the people that are giving
And
us,
I'm thinking me. I mean, I
Yeah.
would be considered more open to something like that
yeah,
in my quote unquote liberal underpinnings. I can't, and my brain was blown. I can't imagine putting that, watch some people on the right wing watching
I would
that.
like to see, but this would require leadership.
Thought leadership?
No, well, just leadership.
Okay.
I would like to see somebody with a state
Yeah.
just say, we're going to adopt this and we're moving forward full board,
Boom.
just exactly like this is from here
Yeah,
on
I would
out.
like to see that
and
too.
see what happens.
Yeah.
Just try it.
We need to do more best practices.
Yeah.
They're out there. Okay.
And we take another state and go, well, I think we're going to try the healthcare model that the Northern European countries have, and we're going to move forward in this state, Minnesota, wherever,
I think you take
and
a
from
state-
here on out.
I think you take a state like Norway or Iceland. Iceland has 330,000 people as a country. Okay. Well, 330,000 people, that's like the state of Nebraska,
Yeah.
right? So why
Just
couldn't Nebraska,
take one and
Iceland
move it.
can do it, why couldn't Nebraska do it?
Could, won't, because it's un-American. We're Americans, Carl. We're Americans.
Yeah, but for a long time, America was the shining example.
You're believing what they tell you again.
I did. We're not.
No, I think we were. Were
do
being
think
the
we
key.
were.
Were being the key word, as in past tense. There's been other countries that have passed us up.
I think really from Reagan on, went to a dark place as a country. I saw an article from 47 to 79. American workers, increased their wealth 122% or something like that. And then zero from 79 on. But the CEOs and the richest, they went up 570% or whatever. There really is this line of demarcation here.
You know what would be real interesting to find out? We know what that is. Let's look at growth in offshore tax havens.
Yeah.
I wonder if it correlates. Oh,
I really think
bet it
after
does.
this Panama Papers, and what the 1%'s doing in terms of tax evasion and how much money we're talking about, which is trillions of dollars, it's going to be hard to make the case to lower the taxes.
Yes.
Lower the taxes.
Well, I was listening to that.
Really, the people that are getting taxed, the
Somewhere
people
on
too
public
stupid to
radio
do the-
coming over here this
Yeah.
morning to do this, they were talking about that very thing and about inversions. And Pfizer and some other pharmaceutical company
Right.
was trying. We're going to
Trying to
merge, and
merge
then they're
for
not.
tax,
And a
yeah.
big part of it was
Obama
going to be an
jumped in there.
inversion, thing.
Right.
Inversion. That's a copyright. That's again a meeting, bunch of people in a room. Okay, this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be shoving money offshore, and we're going to be saving. But we need it because we're corporations. We
need a merge,
We need
yeah.
we need a good word that's kind of soft and. What is that? And it's hard for people to get a hook on. And somebody pops up with the word inversion. They go, inversion. Yeah, we're inverting. We're doing this. It's got the shin on the end. Yeah, it sounds kind of official, but it's really soft and doesn't sound hard. It sounds like it could be something good. Yeah, let's use that. Those words, there's always a meeting somewhere. There's always a meeting. Hate those fucking meetings.
Well, and I think we're coming to the end of our meeting.
We are coming to the end of our meeting, yes.
So yes, tune in, but you don't have to end here at Carl Mike because we have mighty fine show notes over at carlmike.net.
Yeah.
As well as all the episodes of Carl and Mike. Where this is number, did you know this is number, I think
79.
78 or 9?
9. We just,
No, you're one off.
huh?
You're one off, by the way.
Okay.
We just did 77. So
Okay.
this is 78. We're getting there near the 100 mark.
Yeah.
And so check us out on social media. We're everywhere. Carl and Mike.
We're still everywhere.
We're still everywhere you want to be. Some places have are cobwebby, if you will.
Or
Place
tanking.
hasn't been picked up. Our Instagram is weak at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, people are going off to other things besides
Yes,
Instagram. I
yes.
don't know what they're going off
Well,
to.
yes, absolutely.
Huh?
So,
Yeah.
peace.
Out.
Dun 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 dun.